In the black church tradition, in case you did not know, in the church that you were raised in the black church that you were raised in, ushers coming down the aisle had to put their hand behind their back. That was, in fact, instituted for female ushers so that men who were sitting on the aisle would not be attracted to look at their derriere. So they had to put their hand behind their back to block the eyes of nasty deacons who couldn't keep focus on the cross.
Pastor Jamal Bryant's New Year's Eve sermon, delivered in response to criticism of his wife's gala attire, quickly went viral, not only for what it defended, but for what it introduced into the conversation. Among his remarks, Bryant claimed that ushers historically walked with one hand behind their back to cover their backsides from deacons and men in the church who allegedly lacked self-control. That statement is false. There is no historical, theological, or documented usher training tradition that supports the idea that this posture existed to shield women from predatory men. Ushers, both male and female, have long been trained to walk with controlled posture as a sign of reverence, discipline, and readiness to serve. This practice predates modern conversations around modesty, policing, and applies regardless of gender or body type. To suggest otherwise reframes a tradition of order into a narrative of unchecked male lust, not as critique, but as convenient deflection. Let's be clear, misogyny in the black church exists. Women's bodies have been scrutinized, policed, and moralized in ways men's bodies rarely are. The truth does not need exaggeration to stand. However, invoking false historical claims to bolster an argument undermines credibility, especially when done in defense of a moment that many churchgoers, clergy, and bishops openly criticize. Several religious leaders, including Bishop Wooten, publicly rebuked Bryant's presentation of his wife, with Wooten stating that the look conveyed the image of a $2 through the illusion of nudity. While harsh, such critiques reflect a broader concern shared by peers, not just online spectators. What troubled many was not merely the dress, but the response. Rather than acknowledging why congregants and clergy alike felt discomfort, especially given the symbolic role of a first lady, the sermon shifted towards generalized accusations, exaggerated historical claims, and moral redirection. This rhetorical pivot reframed critique as persecution. Church leadership carries symbolic weight. First ladies are not private figures when they appear publicly representing religious institutions. Critique, when offered respectively, is not misogyny by default. When leaders blur facts to win arguments, they weaken trust, and when trust erodes, so does moral authority. Misogyny deserves confrontation. Falsehoods deserve correction, and accountability should never be dismissed as oppression. Two things can be true at once, and responsible leadership demands we hold both.